Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 23. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it? Kahalam La Yahweh Bashmiel Shai Wahara Kakodash. And double honors to the hopefully like elder apostles, slaves to be saved. Lord willing, start with those at the GM Mesh, Great Millstone Church. And shalom to the rest that may be out here and been out here under this same doctrine. Onward to the Akim that's here at this faction, this church of this hopeful elect assembly. In truth, faith, and sincerity, giving diligence in the order of teaching. Onward to the rest of the Akim doing likewise. Shalom. And to the rest of the believers in on this faith of Yahweh Bashmi Shai. Okay. So this is a lesson that's been sitting on my spirit. I suppose I got this done like a week ago, maybe a couple at this point, but it's just been sitting on me. So it really has gotten a chance to build and only, show me that it needs to be said, because it hasn't went anywhere, and I've just got more proof that it needs to be said through the Spirit. So in this lesson, I'm going to be addressing pretty much more so for brothers in the ministry that's teaching or speaking, teaching. If you consider yourself teaching, those teaching, okay? You want to do your lessons. You want to speak words that's relevant to the time, relevant to what's going on, relevant to what is needed from that, what's needed of the men you're around, okay, and those that, and then in a general sense, what's needed for the believers, as a whole, that as the Lord say, gather yourselves together, O nation not desire. Assemble yourselves, that's in the spirit and the doctrine and the understanding and seeing what is we need to have our eye on. As the Lord say, watch and pray that you may be able to escape. Okay. Write the vision. So it's one vision that he may run it and make it plain that he may run that readeth it. Exactly. So that just, all again points to the point of how you want to speak things relevant to the times or that's in season. Your lesson shouldn't just be things that ain't got, that can't affect no one, because it ain't got nothing to do with people actually at. Here it is, things actually going on. It's things that as parts that are, that's going down in front of you that went down. You seen go down, you was a part of, or whatnot, or you may have done, and you don't speak to none of those things, but yet everything else that's going on. Matter of fact, let me grab a quick scripture. Proverbs 17 and 24. Wisdom is before him that hath understanding, but the eyes of a fool, your eyes is known, is used in the scriptures to point out or say or express your focus, where your attention is at. But the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth. So yeah, here it is. You got what like I said, what you should be focusing on, things that's going on around you, and speaking to that and making sure men, believers, you got the things you should be attended to, but yet you completely off somewhere else. It's that's what you speaking to. Here it is. This was going on. This is what, is happening, amongst your body, your camp, and this is what this particular thing is, what the concern is, clearly, right? According to everybody, 2 or 3 witnesses, and you way over, you concerned with something way off somewhere else, or you way somewhere over somewhere else. Everybody here, you way over there. We can't be like that. That's off. Because if you being like that, say you a fool. Okay, so wisdom is before him. Yeah, that's what you're gonna keep in front of you, wisdom. And wisdom, the wisdom we are to have when speaking is And when regarding speaking, it's speaking what's in season, what's relevant to the times, what's needful or expedient for the listener, for a brother, for the believers in the general, for the brothers amongst you, as a support, as a aid, as a help, whatever. How you want to be. And then, for those among you, and then, physically, and then the general believers abroad, okay, who are pretty much interlinked in with one another, that's awakened, that's in on the doctrine of Yahweh Basham Shai through the internet, okay? But if you being simple or a fool, you're not gonna be concerned with those things. You're gonna be talking about and concerned with and looking at things that no one is gonna be affected by. You know what I'm saying? But so to kick this off, Proverbs 15:23, a man have joy by the answer of his mouth. Yeah, man, that's really listening. They're not going to. They're gonna be happy if you speaking not necessarily what they want to hear, but what's really, if they're in their right mind, what's good to the ear, which is what is aligned with where they at, what's real, what's realistic, what's useful at that time. It says, in a word spoken in due season. How good is it? Yeah, brothers be like, or people be like, man, yeah, I need to hear that, man. That's right on time, In the NLT, it says, everyone enjoys a fitting reply. See, everyone enjoys a fitting reply. Here it is. But you could just tell it's a lot of men, clearly, because if this is not your concern, you could just tell it's a lot of men. They got they got their own agenda. You're not really, caring if your message is edifying, exhorting, or admonishing. You doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. Okay? That's not really your concern, because everything you speak is always going to be according to what's going on in a way that's clear. It's not going to be in a rhyme. It's not going to be in a damn riddle. It's going to be plain. It is wonderful to say the right thing at the right time. Exactly. Ecclesiastes 3:1, I'm going to start at. So it says it's headed as it's a time for everything. This is a fundamental thing to have in your repertoire of understanding. Okay. So when you're assessing things, you can go about it the right way. When you're saying things, you can go about it the right way. Doing things, giving things, ending things. When you got this, a part of your repertoire of understanding, right? As a foundation, an essential, you're able to do all those things correctly. Because it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Jump into verse 5, Salakia. A time to cast away and a time to gather stones together, which we know the stones, it symbolizes us in certain mentions in the scriptures. Okay, in this one, yeah. It's a time to to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. So it's a time where, we're not dealing with everybody, and more in a general sense, and you more so focused with the body, the immediate body, those that's in on this, the men around you, the men in the camp, and everybody else. All right, we ain't talking to you right now. We trying to focus on something right here. So that's a time like that. And then you can do that or achieve that, in a lesson. Okay. When certain things go on, your message is gathering should be in response to that. Whether if it should be because you're looking to see what's needed. It's in season. It's about what's in season. So if through something that may have went down, if it's calls for, okay, need to gather, you can speak to it in that regard. But if it's to cast away, you going at it in that regard completely. But if you're not concerned with that or not doing either, what are you doing? you're not doing anything. You're missing the mark. You beating at the air, as Paul said. It says, you know, you want to make sure you actually achieving. I want to grab that too. Let me grab that. 1 Corinthians 9:24. It says, I'm going to start at 23. I'm going to start at 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize, so run that ye may obtain. So yeah, you can easily run being a race, just running, but it's all about running in a way, going about it to where you actually going to achieve, you know, running correctly, running in a way to where you'll get some out of it and you won't just be running, which is the win, which is the objective, to win. It says, so that's what you ought to have that mentality as well when it comes to speaking, you know, responding to certain things that's going on or that may be needed, you know, as far as something that's given. But it says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, right? Those actual physical racers, those ones that run in the Olympics and all that. But we an incorruptible. But more so is going into, that's the example. But more so is going into those. That's what is likened unto. That's what everyone that's in this truth is likened unto. Everybody just, or every, for instance, in the instance of what I'm speaking on, right? Everyone in this truth, right, suppose is doing lessons. They making videos or whatever. They are around as a brother or a sister, but how many, you know, a wife or whatever, you know, but how many in a way to where it's effective, you know, and in a way that's is sincere, in a way to where, or in the way that they're, you know, how can I say this? That they are to be, which is serious, which is shown. And if you're trying to be, or seen, and if you're trying to be effective, how many in that way is showing us that in this truth, you ain't gonna have everybody actually about it. You know, they in it for something else. They just around. They making videos just to be like, I made a video, or I was a part of that movement, or yeah, I was there. Yeah, I would be able to be like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that weekend at Highway. I remember that. You know, but how many were there or did the video, or, you know, on the highway or whatever it may be, in a way to where they was actually trying to get out or make it about what it was supposed to be about, get out what is supposed to be gotten out of it. You know, that's how we supposed to be. It says, I therefore so run not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beateth the air. Yeah, don't just be doing it just to do it. Make sure you actually hitting something. You hitting the point. You hitting the mark. You know? Okay? But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, exactly. Because this goes, this is all across the board. You can apply this message in different aspects of being in season and doing something on point and being effective. You know, it says, when I have preached to others, I myself shall be a castaway. Because you ain't either taking heed or you doing it in a way to where ain't nobody affected. So it's basically like you didn't do anything. So going back to Ecclesiastes 3:5, a time to cast away and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Here it is. That's the energy that needs to get put out. That's the spirit that needs to get put out. And no one's, you know, because it's due to a situation that may have occurred or a certain time we may be in, and no one's pushing that message. That's like when everybody in Israel is talking about rebuilding and building New Jerusalem, and everybody and their mama, right, acting like that's cool. No, or when knowing you got people, you know, a bunch of people knowing that's off, that ain't the time or season that we are, you know, that's not in season. That's not what we are to be doing. But no one responds to that with that. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that would have been in season. And you have people that was actually partaking in it, but that knew, like, I was thinking, like, I don't know, man. I'm in it, but I don't know if we should be doing this. That's why you have those that are supposed to know and are to say something because they see in that season is needed to be said. You can have people conflicted, but then you don't, because you got your eyes in the end of the world. You speaking about what you want to speak about, and now that person ends up falling, not being supported. They end up stumbling because of you. You wasn't there as a support. You wasn't in season. You wasn't how you supposed to be. You know. 2 Timothy 2 and 2 Timothy 4:2. Preach the word. Be instant in season. See, you always want to be in season with everything you do. You know? Okay, it says out of season, right? Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort. Do all these things with all long suffering and doctrine. Right? Everything you say you should be able to back up with the scriptures. When you say certain things at certain times, you should be able to say, I can do this because it's according to the scripture, because it's according to the scriptures. According to the scriptures, this is the time to do it. And what you're supposed to be doing is reproving, rebuking, and exhorting. So you can't be rebuking. You're supposed to be rebuking, but it's supposed to be when it's in season. And you got to be instant. You got to be on it. You should not supposed to be waiting. You can't wait till it's out of season. You ain't had a coat on all winter and you wait till summer, springtime to go finally get a coat and put it on and try to wear it. You playing yourself, man. That's why I said, Lord say, be instant. So you can be on point. You can be right up. You could be up to date with the times. You could be considered in season. See that? That's how you're supposed to be. This is Isaiah 50:4. The Lord hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season. So you can't say you don't know, for instance, through this video, because of this video being done, this lesson being done, these scriptures being brought out. You can't say you don't know. Give no offense that the ministry may not be blamed. An offense will be me constantly sitting on this lesson and never bringing it out, knowing I've seen that it was in season to get this message across, to where one would know how to speak a word in season and why they are to do that and do certain things or not do certain things or take on a certain disposition because it's in season, or not have a certain disposition or not say a certain thing or do a certain thing because it's out of season. You're supposed to be instant in season, out of season, man. And that goes, and obviously we always use that in the sense of when we on the highways and byways, we always there. We supposed to be always there when you need it. Instant in season, man. But it says that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. Exactly. Because it's going to constantly be in your face about what's needed. What is it? How you need to be. It's right in front of you, if somebody's telling you or not, or you just seeing it. Okay? The Lord hath opened my ear, and I was not rebellious, neither turned away back. Exactly. You see something, say something. You see this is in season or this is out of season, move according to it like that, man. That's why he said, if thou hast answer thy neighbor, man. You can be there, be there. Help your neighbor in time of need. Be instant in season. That's all in the Apocrypha. Okay? So I'm going to close this out. Proverbs 15:23. A man have joy by the answer of his mouth. You want to make sure, people being able to say, okay, they getting joy. That's our job. Come from Jerusalem. It says, and a word spoken in due season, how good is it? And joy ain't always got to be you saying something nice to somebody. You could be cussing somebody out and they get joy in that. Like, man, I needed that. So call like Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakodash. And that goes into giving things or just being there. Shalom.